Hey, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Cedric just told me he needs every minute of this workshop, so we won't wait. We will start immediately. My name is Alex Voloshev, Developer Advocate Lead at DataStax, and today I host a very special guest, Cedric Lunden, Director of Developer Advocacy at DataStax and a big Java geek. Hey,
Oh
Cedric.
yeah. Yeah, hello everyone. Super happy to be with you today for the 2 hours workshop on how to be the clone of Goodreads with the Spring framework. This work has been made possible by the Java Brains video who did 16 video on how to build this app deep dive. So what we did, we take the Kushik code, improve it quite a lot, you will see, and explain you how to build a great application.
Perfect. Which technologies are we going to use? So you said Spring, that means
Spring in
Java.
Java. Yeah.
Over than that, anything?
Oh yeah, time leaf. Yeah, don't want to give too much, too much stuff right now up front. You will see in a minute. There
Okay,
is a lot to cover.
great.
Yeah, I mean, you presented me already, so I'm leading the developer advocacy team at DataStax. Here you have my coordinates. Would be happy to have you in my network in the right-hand corner. Don't hesitate to invite me. I'm a Java geek doing a lot of Spring. I created my open source framework 9 years ago called FF4J. And of course, I love doing some work with Cassandra. And Alex, yet again,
Yep. I'm Alex, developer advocate lead at DataStax. I have fun making IT better, helping developers to be better in what they're doing. First of all, in the field of distributed systems, in the field of decentralized systems, databases, cloud data, and many other technologies. I'm an open source fan, and I enjoy actually developing open source software. And well, let's say I love when it's the right tools. I use it in the right time, in the right time to solve problems in the right way. And today we are going to learn exactly this thing. So let's move on.
okay, let's move on. It's not only me and Alex on screen. We have a bigger and bigger team to help us build that content. You will see there is a lot of documentation in the README, step-by-step instruction. And they are also here to help you in the YouTube chat or on Discord right now. So thank you. I think today with us, we do have Stefano and Aaron. So thank you to be there with us. Okay, so 2 hours workshop. Hopefully we will finish on time. A little bit of housekeeping. Then we will put the shoes of someone who need to build that app. So system design and build that app layer by layer, starting with the database schema, data loading, data connection, then the service layer, then the web layer, then the authentication layer. At the end of the 2 hour, you would have a full app running in front of you in your laptop, connected to GitHub and also probably Google. Not bad, right? Okay, so let's get rolling with a little bit of housekeeping. So we are here every week for 2 hours workshop live. We are live both on YouTube and Twitch. Twitch is more for the backup if something goes wrong with YouTube. We will answer your question live on YouTube and Discord. But when I'm doing a lot of teaching, that would be good to save your question for more the hands-on part, because I will probably give you the answer of your question during the teaching, okay? Do not restrain yourself, but I will probably not interrupt to answer your question during the teachings part.
Cedric, we have a good question. Is this workshop good for noobs? Asked by science enthusiast.
This workshop is good for everyone, but for noobs, I would recommend not to do the hands-on with me. I will probably go too fast. Just watch with me. Try to get the most of what you can. It's recorded, so you can replay it at your own pace and keep asking questions on Discord.
Right. And ask questions.
Exactly. It will be an interactive session. So as you can see, we're already interacting with you through the chat, but also I will ask you questions very soon. because at the end of the session, we will play a game together. I will ask you questions live. And if you answer fast, you get more points. And the 3 fastest among you will get a swag box shipped at their location for free. So, stay with us up to the end. You will have to do some hands-on, and you don't have to install anything to do so, okay? Everything is online. The database is online. The ID is online. It's called Gitpod, and all the instructions are on GitHub. Some instruction, maybe you have seen on the YouTube chat already that you have some command you can enter to get access to short URL, like !GitHub, boom, you got GitHub link. !Astra, you get to Astra. And this is the same for the slide, the homeworks, and a lot of links we will share with you. Okay, so probably Aaron will share those links each time we need them. So I would like this session to be as interactive as possible. So let's start right now. Why I would like to ask you a question. Right now, it's not a game. It's just asking you a few questions. No need to be fast. So how to answer those questions? Open a new tab in your internet browser and go to menti.com. There, you will have to enter a code. The code is on screen now. The code is 3713. Oh, I'm hiding the code. So 37133070. Also, the code will be probably in the YouTube chat. So let me copy that link, that code in the YouTube chat, just for you to be as lazy as possible. Also, you can scan the QR code on screen, and with your phone is totally good to play the games, and you will have access to the few questions in the beginning. Okay, so now let me go here, and I will wait for you. So I can see in the YouTube stream we are almost 300. Thank you for being with us. But in the quiz right now, I only see 75 people. So I will wait for you a couple of minutes, but not too long. We do have a lot to learn and cover today. But still, it needs to be fun.
Yep. Okay. And one more point. For some of you, it may be more convenient to use Menti on your mobile phone, not on your browser, maybe. It also works perfectly in mobile. And Menti code is published already many times in YouTube chat. Thank you so much, everyone. And there is a question by Gladikina Rajesh. Can I use Eclipse IDE or IntelliJ IDEA community version for coding?
Yes,
I believe coding with this workshop.
Yes, you can use both. You will see in the repo, you do have the Maven POM. So you just have to import the project and you should be okay to start the app. Now, as we want everybody need to follow, the instruction will be using a cloud-based IDE. So don't be surprised. But if you know how to use Eclipse or IntelliJ, go for it. Yes, it's work on Eclipse. I will do some demo with Eclipse in front of you. Okay, so I see 140 people with me in the Menti. Not everyone needs to be with us just for the few questions in the beginning, but hey, that's a good rehearsal for the game in the end. So before starting, 5 questions for you. I think we do have 5. So first question, where are you from? So look at your phone or the tab and pick your location and we will see where you are from. So I see people coming from India. I know it might be late for you, so thank you for being there. We used to run those sessions 1 hour later, and we say, hey, maybe with so many people coming from India, let's put it at least 1 hour earlier. And thank you for being with us.
Cedric, could you please paste Menti link on the YouTube chat? You can get it right above if you put your mouse button over the code on top of your Menti screen. You will get a link there.
Did it?
Thank you. Hey, so Menti link right in the chat.
Yes, nice. Oh, that's a nice trick I was not aware of.
Yep.
Okay, look at that. Oh, people coming from all around the world. And that's, that's amazing. See, we are totally distributed workshops. Hey, 100 coming from India. Okay.
We have someone from Siberia that's going to be pretty late there. It's like almost midnight.
Yeah, but it's so cold. He cannot really go out, right? Or she.
Yeah, totally nothing to do outside.
So yeah, question is kind of redundant, but hey, maybe that's better to see. Antarctica? Do we really expect people from Antarctica? That would be so funny. So see, here you can see different flavors of question. Some are with close list of item. Some are more set your location. All right, I'm happy where I am. Love that answer. Okay, so let's move quickly. What is your primary programming language? So today we will do Java and only Java. But on the channel, we have plenty of content on JavaScript, TypeScript, Python. We are building content from C#. And we are also starting stuff with Go. So Java, hey, you please me. That's exactly, you're in the good spot. Obviously, I will please you as well.
Hey, you
Okay.
don't have Kotlin in your list. There
Oh,
are guys answering Kotlin on the YouTube chat.
yeah, that's true. But at some point, you need to pick one. We could have put Kotlin, Clojure, and all these cool, nice GVM-based languages, groovy as well. Backend developer, exactly what we want. Web apps, all good. So perfect. Thank you. So thank you for being with us. I'm looking at the clock. Let's see. Yeah, so now everybody knows who's there with us. Have you ever been to one of our workshops before? Okay, so I told you we are there every week for 2 hours, same format, interactive question and games. Each week, a new topic covering a lot of IT topic from databases, of course. DataStax is providing some support for Apache Cassandra, NoSQL databases, but way more than that. Okay, a lot of newcomers, so welcome for being with us today. Hope you will enjoy the ride. And if you like it, maybe you would consider to, like the video, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff to make us famous and shiny.
Yeah, and we run workshops weekly on different topics. So if you like this one, mostly probably you will like the next one as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
So next one will be NLP on Python, a lot of machine learning, I think.
And NLP is natural language processing. NLP is it's a kind of part of machine learning thing, but we also discover not only how to do it, but also how to open it as an API so others can use it. It's going to be a really cool workshop.
Okay, right. Okay, so I let this screen open and you should do the same. This is where we will come back at the end to play the game.
If you want to earn the prizes, of course.
Oh yeah, maybe you want to let the prize for us. Okay, so now a little bit of teaching, okay? Before getting your hands dirty, let's go with the system design. And to do the system design, I will use a standard from the industry. And as what you see on screen on the left part is called the ADM wheel of TOGAF. TOGAF is an architecture framework. I like to use TOGAF as a checklist, something I need to, to check to see if I'm building the proper system. But it's not a religion either. Okay, I'm not only TOGAF. I just like to have that as the checklist. So what do we want to build? We want to build a clone of Goodreads. Goodreads is an application you can find on the App Store and the Google Play. It's there to help you track the books that you read, the book that you love, and share the book that you love with others. So find, get, and share books you love with everyone in the world in real time, all in a single application. So this app is called Better Reads, just to remind you, good reads. The idea is really to have all the books in the world in the app. And that's the reason why you need kind of database that allow to scale. All right. So architecture vision, this is what we want to build. Second in the wheel is business architecture. So what do you want to do? Well, you want to be able to search for books, to log in, look for books, save for books, put some notation on books, and so forth and so on. Okay. Fortunately, because we do have the app, I can show you the real screenshot. This is what it looked like. This is what you will have today in this hands-on. And I can even do better. I can scroll to the other side, and here I do have the application live, and I can, so search something using the search bar. It's coming. I can go back, log in via GitHub or Google. So let's use GitHub here. Now I'm authenticate. And so this is the book I do have in my collection, and say, hey, crispy jokes. Maybe I'm not really good at jokes, but reading that book, I will get better, and I can increase the rating. Okay. So login, search, add book, save book, log in, log out. Okay, so this is what we are building today, or at least I will show you exactly all the code needed to build that today. All right, that's the business architecture, the use case, what we want to do. Which technology would you pick to do that? Well, I'm a Java user, I love Java, and the most famous framework in the Java world is, to be honest, Spring. And Spring is already a galaxy of framework and does have everything you need to build each part of your application, from the data access, service layer, controller layer, views, security. And so this is what we will do. We will use Spring Data for data access, Spring MVC for the controller, TimeLeaf, which is the default view renderer with Spring for the views, and also Spring Security. Now you get run Java and Spring and covering. It's not Hello World today, okay? So multiple layer will be covered. Which database? Well, we want to have all the books in the world. That's the target. And we want to create a global distributed network, social network with millions of people. So Facebook created a NoSQL database in 2008 called Apache Cassandra. Big giant needs those kind of databases. And it's a NoSQL distributed database. Here, there is no master. It's a peer-to-peer architecture. And it's scaled linearly. If you need more throughput, more capacity, simply add new nodes. The data is replicated. You can lose any of the node and it will still work. If you lose a node and the node is come back, the database will self-healing. You can put nodes all across the world. It's geographic distribution, and it's open source. You can install that wherever you want, any cloud, locally, and create some cluster with nodes where you need to have them. And the good part, no lock-in, it's vendor independent. So that's my love letter to Cassandra. This is
You
what
totally deserve your love letter.
You're in the good channel too for Cassandra lovers. Let's be honest. Okay, so because we need performance, reliability, large data, and geographic distribution, the choice has been made of Cassandra NoSQL for this app. But we need some books now. And there is an open website called Open Library, openlibrary.org, providing a lot of books in the world. Okay, so, and they do have some developer page, developer center, that they provide an API for you to interact and get those books. And they also provide some dumps to get, hey, this is all the books that we do have saved as the text file. And what we want to do is to load this data in the database. Full disclosure, in 2 hours, we won't have time to import 260 million books, but my goal is to make you insert 500,000 for today. Okay, not too bad. All right, okay. So this is what the technology architecture look like. Here you can see Open Library. We download the dumps as text files. we load the data. So we need something to load the data. We need a data loader. And I will exactly discuss how to build that data loader to put that in Cassandra. I don't want you to install Cassandra today. So we will use Cassandra in the cloud, hosted. The platform is Astra DB, so astra.datastax.com. And there you will have a Cassandra for free. The limit is kind of 40 million read and writes per month for free, and you can execute them every month. So that's pretty cool to build some demo project and even small production without paying anything for the database. The web app, no surprise, will be all Spring, and as you have seen before, it would be cool to authenticate, not user password, but with GitHub and Google. Okay. Woohoo! All right. Keep moving. Astra is a platform pretty powerful, having both Cassandra and Pulsar and a wide range of interface. So to talk with Cassandra, you can use gRPC, REST, Document API, GraphQL. So if you are a front-end developer or like to work through API to contact your database, you also have anything you need. Today we will use the interface in orange, the good old Cassandra interface using a good old query language called CQL, Cassandra Query Language.
And if you don't know it, don't be scared because it looks very similar to SQL. So if you know any kind of SQL, you will be fine.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of Pulsar as well. I think our next Pulsar session will be in a month, something like that. But again, we are doing a lot of those workshops. Okay, so you know what the application look like, you know what we try to do, the use case, the framework that we will use, where we will get the data from. Let's load the data. Step 1, data modeling. And that may surprise you. You want to build an app, and the first things you do after SketchUp and mockup of the UI is data modeling directly. And yes. And the reason is, with relational database, you will build your data model, providing normal form, 3FN. Maybe you have heard about that. A nice, clean data model with joins and foreign keys, and the same data is saved only once and reused. And now is the job for the application is to try to shape correct queries using joins and filters to retrieve what they need. In the NoSQL world, and especially with tabular databases like Apache Cassandra, you will build your data model based on your queries. So you really need to know which will be your queries, because the table will be designed based on those queries. Okay, so in the first chapter, I've shown you what the application look like. We will need now to go back there and see what exactly are the queries we need. And of course, we also need the entities. Okay, so we will probably need books, user, notation, ratings. You know where I'm going. So the only key message here is, if you working with NoSQL databases, start with the data model. So there is a methodology for Cassandra design. So here you see the workflow. Okay, so you need two parts to start: conceptual data model, application workflow, to build the logical data model and the physical data model. And I will do it in front of you right now for this app. Okay.
Cedric, take a look, guys. There are companies asking us to teach their teams how do you data modeling for Cassandra, and these cost like $1,000 to them. And here we give it all for free. So focus on, listen to what Cedric says. Wait a second and pay your attention, please. It may save you a lot of money and make you much better developer.
Okay, right. So let's do it. That's the methodology. Oh, if you want to learn more about this methodology, because you mentioned it, Alex, academy.datastax.com, a lot of free massive online courses, MOOC, and there you will see a courses called DS220 data modeling. And again, multiple hours of video. Again, today, 2 hours. I just want you to have the end-to-end process to build a real app. So today we're not teaching the methodology, we're applying the methodology to build something. Okay, conceptual data model. I can go pretty quickly on this one. So you immediately know we will work with books. Books will have an ID, a name, a published date, eventually multiple covers if a book have multiple editions, a description. A book is written by one to many authors. Each author will have its ID and name. And also you as a user, you authenticate. Right now in the app, you are authenticated with your ID, will be your email address and a name, just for you to have the name on the UI, okay? We don't want to steal your coordinates, just ID and email is enough. And a book, user will read book, put some notation and rating on the book, put some status as read, not read, and also put some dates if when the book has been start reading and complete reading. Okay. Relational data model. Even if I don't like the relational, Entity relation diagram, conceptual data model. So second, we need the application workflow. Well, we have done most of the work already. So I put back this screen. So query 1, from the home screen to the home screen, you will have to authenticate. So Q1, Q11 is authentication. Then for Q11, Q11 is show me the list of book for user, just after the authentication. And Q12, for dedicated user, for dedicated book, please show me what is the rating status and allow to update those. So Q12. We also have part of the application as anonymous. You don't have to register. So Q2 is search for a book from its title. And Q21 is get the details from a book based on its ID. Get book by ID. Okay. What does those query look like? Hey, this is what it look like. So first you authenticate, get the list of book, show a book, search for books, get the details of a book. Okay, one part of the website is authenticated, the other part is public. All right, and with that, we have everything we need. We do have the entity relation data model. We do have the application workflow. We can start thinking about the real data model. So how? Again, let's reuse this methodology proposed by Mr. Professor Chet Boko. So he provides both the methodology and also the diagram how to represent those tables. So let's use that Chet Boko diagram notation. Some of the queries will not use the database. Authentication, I will authenticate against GitHub or Google. Search, well, it might feel weird, but the search by title does not use Cassandra. It's a choice that Kushik from Java Brains made, not to have to import all the books in the database. Just the search will use the web API provided by Open Library. And which is totally fine for me and even cool, because then I will teach you how to invoke a REST API with Spring, because it changed lately. It's not REST template as it used to be. So now we only have 3 queries left. Get books by ID, find a book by a user and book ID, and find all the books by the user. So after the by in the table name, this is your key. This is kind of the standard we use. So books by ID, find me all the books with this ID. It could be book, no S, I assume. So here, the book ID is the identifier and will be my primary key. And it will ensure unicity. It's an ID. So here I put K as partition key, and partition key here is enough to ensure the unicity of the record. Okay. Second, find book by user, find by user ID and book ID. Okay. So here I will provide the user ID. And then I will get all the books from I think I should switch the title here. Books by user and book ready. Yeah, you know what? I'm pretty sure that it should be like that. When I explain, it's way more logic. Let's do it again. Okay, so you want to list the book by the user. So you provide the user ID as the partition key, get all the books from this user. Okay, and then you can filter by status, book ID, or time UUID based on if you have read the books or not. And then if you provide both a user ID and the book ID, you get a unique book. And then you can specify the rating, the reading status, start and stop. Okay, better like that.
Yep, Cedric, give me a moment. So there are plenty of questions regarding Chebotaw notation and data model in general. I want to say a couple of words here. Take a look, guys. Cassandra is designed to handle huge volume with huge pressure. For example, one of the biggest Cassandra users is Netflix users and developers. They not only use Cassandra, they also develop Cassandra as it's an open source project. And now take a look. One of their biggest clusters use it to store hundreds petabytes of data, serving 30 million queries per second. And those 30 million queries per second is not at the application level, those are much more, but on the database level. And they still get their answers within milliseconds. And we have to admit that's a great, amazing power within the database what can handle such a lot. That's just a single cluster. They have much more actually. But it comes with some liability to learn things, how it's internally work. And this workshop is about how do you run your Spring application, Java application, working with those things. But you know what? We have only 2 hours. We cannot explain all the things within 2 hours. It will just take 20 hours, and I'm afraid you will be too tired in the end. We want you to get too tired. Now, there are a lot of questions about Cassandra data modeling. You are the best people who are asking questions about that right now because data modeling as Cassandra is absolutely, totally essential. For you, I have something special. First, I have for you Introduction to Apache Cassandra and Introduction to Cassandra Data Modeling, workshops recorded free at this YouTube channel. You can easily find them. And if you want to have more, we have a special courses on that at the academy.datastax.com. I will throw a link in the chat in a moment, where we explain it in details. Right now, please don't focus on these things too much because we cannot explain it within 2 hours. We have to stick to Java and Spring, right? I will try to answer all the questions in the YouTube chat, but there are a lot of them, so maybe I won't be able to answer all of them. But we have for you all the required information. And thank you for asking, by the way.
Yeah, and thank you, Alex, to answer all those questions. Yeah, indeed, I'm really applying the methodology, not explaining exactly everything. Just to converge quickly with the expected data model. But on the channel, we have plenty of sessions, exactly 2 hours, 3 hours exactly on just data modeling. So after the logical data modeling, what you want to do is the physical data modeling. So translating from these table to really, hey, this is exactly the type, the column type that we need. Okay, so here you can see text, time UUID, which is both a timestamp and a unique identifier. And here maybe just a word, a book can have multiple authors. And instead of doing a joins, because there is no join in Cassandra, there is no foreign key in Cassandra, here we can set an attribute as a list. So to get the list of authors from this book, it's just a list of text, same for author names, same for cover IDs. Okay, when you have one too many, you can use that trick to have one attribute as a list. Okay, here you can see the notation, what is a partition key, clustering column, and you end up with those three table creation statement, create table. It's called CQL, Cassandra Query Language, and this is how you initialize the schema needed for our app, applying the methodology. Okay, that's data modeling. Now let's put stuff in this database. Okay, so here it seems like, yeah, that's already 37 minutes, and I say, hey, so let's stop talking from me and let you get your database, okay? Now you know what it looked like, what you should put in there. First, let's create your database. So I will need everyone to now go to GitHub and start working. Again, I will do the same step as you in front of you, hands-on part. If I'm going too fast, do not worry, the session is recorded, but I will try to be pretty clear and explain each step. So now I will move from this screen to, okay, let's see, not Menti, this screen. Okay. All right. So here the screen split into part. First, I do have the README with all the step-by-step instruction. Let me copy paste the URL in the chat right now.
And let me highlight a thing just again for our dear attendees. If you are novices, if you aren't so strong in development or with Java, please just sit still, fasten your seatbelts, and watch what Cedric is doing. You will be able to do it after the workshop, and we will answer your questions in Discord chat. Don't worry, you aren't ignored. You can do it all after the workshop, and you will ask your questions. We will answer afterwards. But if you are more advanced developer who has experience with Java and so on, you can try to do the same simultaneously with Cedric.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, do not worry. We need to stick to the 2 hours, and yeah, sometimes it feel a bit rush, but hey, the session is recorded. So here, 13 step and only 40 minutes in. No, okay. So first, objective, acknowledgement, material, all the slides also are available for you. You can go there and you do have the PDF. So here, start the end the zone. So start by creating Astra DB. So here you do have the link. So you will end up with this login page, and you can authenticate either using GitHub or Google. Here I will use Google. Okay, that's the second stuff I did. All right, and I will log in using my Google account. I love OO2, and you will love too. We will do the same with our own app. Exactly the same screen. Isn't that cool? Okay, so the website is loading. I will create a database from this website. And so we will also wait a bit for you. So when you're done with the step, give us a thumb up in the chat. Just for us to check that some of you are able to keep up. Okay, so to create a database, you want to do create database. But if you already have one, you can just resume it And if you already have one, we just ask you to create a new key space called Better Reads. And again, we are there every week, so we totally expect a lot of people already having some database there. But hey, let's do the, I'm new, I don't have anything. So create a database. This is what it looked like. A database name. So we ask you to put the workshop database name, workshops. But to be honest, it's not a big deal. You can put whatever you like. For the hands-on, it won't impact anything. So I will just use workshop without the S because I already have the other. Oh, okay. Demo, live workshop. Okay, let's do it. Live workshops. And the key space. So here the key space, please use the same as the one provided. Look at that. I copy paste. Okay, I'm stupid. I copy paste. Better Reads is the name of the key space. Key space is like an Oracle schema. This is the name of where you will put all the table for today. You can have multiple key spaces inside the same database. Then you need to select a region. Where do you want the database to live? It's not a big deal. For you, it will be free, whatever you pick. Maybe one good tips would be to pick something close to you, just to reduce the latencies. But to be honest, it won't change a lot. And when everything is done, you just press create a database and boom, like that, you do have a Cassandra database initializing 3 nodes. That would take 2-3 minutes to be ready. And we can start using it. So here now you see I do have a new one called a live workshop over here. And the status is pending. It will take a few minutes to start up, like you, I guess. I already have mine called workshops, already active with already the data loaded. So this is why I did not pick the same names. Okay. Okay. And yeah, tell me when the database is pending, and we can proceed to step 6.
Okay, so we have already people who completed the setup.
Nice, nice. And it's not surprising, if you join us before, you already have a database. It's already called workshop. What we tend to do is reuse the database workshops for every workshops. Sounds pretty normal, right? Just add a new key space for each topic.
Yep. If database is pending, that's totally fine.
Yeah,
it might take a couple of minutes
exactly.
to spawn it up. So don't worry about that.
Yeah,
it's fine.
If it's pending, that's totally good. We can move to step 6. Okay, nice. I see Ananya, Science Enthusiast, Prana, Vikas, all done. That's cool. Okay. So I will keep moving. I don't need to wait for the database to be fully initialized to get to step 6. I will just do the 2 in parallel then. So you do have the database, but you want to authenticate against the database. So you need credentials, user, password. And here with the platform Astra, instead of using user password, we will use a token. And token is really your keys you will use everywhere to interact with the database instead of user password. Okay. So I need to create this token that I will reuse everywhere. And to do so, I will open here these ellipses, go to organization settings. Okay. Go to token management like that. And here I will create a token. As you can see in the instruction, the role that we ask you to provide is database administrator. So let's do it. I will look here and at database administrator is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And I will generate my token. And this token can do almost everything. It's simpler for us just to use that super token to do everything. If you want to reduce the scope, just with the token, you can only access one database or can be read-only. That's totally doable. You just pick another profile. But for the workshop, let's use database administrator. I click generate token. And here you will see in my token, I do have 3 fields. client ID, client secret, and token. This screen will be shown to you only once, and that's for security reason. You will see later today when we do OAuth2, GitHub doing the same, Google doing the same. Client ID, client secret are sensitive information you want to show only once. So we kindly ask you to record those tokens locally. And I record those tokens locally in something called generated token. What I like to do as well is copy just this token somewhere on a text file in my in a text file somewhere in my laptop, because this is the one I will be asked to provide multiple times today. We will use the third field called token, starting with Astra CS semicolon. So let me copy here. It's now in my and I will copy that in a text file and move this text file away. Now it's on my second screen and I can reuse that whenever I want. Okay. And with that, I have complete step 6. I can go back to the dashboard. Let's see. And my database live workshop should now be, oh, it's still pending. Okay. Oh, flow for the demo effect. Okay, it will be there soon. Okay.
You know what?
5 minutes.
Live demo very often can bring some discrepancies, but there is nothing like live communication, live answering questions. We nearly never do recorded sessions. We always do it live to communicate with you live. That
Yeah, it's not
brings
like
some, yeah.
fading in, fading out. Wow, everything's working. No. It's
You
a
know,
real
database, what
condition.
will be in pending state for a couple of more minutes, it's totally fine.
Yeah,
At
it
some
is.
demos, it may happen what the whole environment, I did it locally, whole environment was working 15 minutes ago. Now, 15 minutes later, it doesn't work at all, right in front of the audience. Now I have to debug it live. But well, live performance totally worth it, I believe.
And you know what? That's not a big deal, because with those 2 steps, we have done the hands-on one, and I can keep going. We have not created the table yet, but I will give you tips and tricks for that table creation to be super fast. So before going to hands-on part 7, I will come back to the slides. All right. And slides will be data loading. Okay. I told you Open Library provides some text files, and you want to load those text files. Okay, you got it. So if we look at dumps provided by Open Library, and I will do that in a minute, you will have to use 2 dumps. The first dump is called works dump, 2 GB compressed. It's about 13 gigabytes when you unzip it. And authors, it's about 3 gigabytes when you unzip it. Why do you need 2? Well, if you look in my table, I would like to have both author ID and author names. Unfortunately, in the authors dump, I only have the IDs. So I need a way to enrich each row with the author names. And this is why we are using the second file called author deps. Okay, all right. So what should we do? Okay, you are Java developer. You will create a batch that will read every single row on the author file, parse this author, and save the information author ID, author name in a table, right? This is what we call a pivot table, to be able to associate one with others. So step 1, load my file into a table. Step 2, look at the second dump called works.txt. And for each row, parse what I need and enrich the book with the author names, and finally save the books. And this is what Kushik in Java Brains video did in front of the people. So long story short, I did the same. And I say, okay, I want to do the same. And let me show you what it looks like. You have the code. I don't expect you to run that code. It's in the test called import dataset with Spring. Okay. And here I do have two sample files. One is, and it's the samples files also provided, and it's a few hundred lines each time. So here I load the author and I save the books. Okay. And if I run this code, so import data test with Spring. Okay. So it will start the Spring Boot application, doing the context initialization like a Spring Boot, okay, normal. And it's a unit test, but if I'm doing the main, it's no big change. But test is pretty cool to inject only what you need. I've shown you. Okay, great. Okay, let's see. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, that's the reason is I'm streaming and I maybe eat some out of memory, not out of memory, but timeout when I connect to the database. Second issue that probably could happen is I have already the app running, and because I did the demo in the beginning and it's not happy. So let's restart, okay? Condition from the live. Okay, so hopefully now it will connect to the database, please. Please, connect. All right, and it's starting. And I'm loading the author. Bam, 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 bam. It's great. It's working. I'm loading some author in the database, and I can show you. I do have the author. I can probably open a terminal, and it will work. We will have the author. Oh, by the way, what I can do? Let me stop that. I can go to my Astra database. Oh, look at that. The live streaming is loading. I will open something called a SQL console. And I can show you a few authors. Okay, so use better reads. That's our key space. Describe tables. Oh, no, I do have the tables. When I start the app, Spring Data creating the table for me. But for now, it's not really important. What I would like to do is select author, select star from author, limit then, okay? Author by ID, limit 10, okay. Yeah, so, it's working. I do have my author IDs with names and personal names. I'm happy, right? It's working exactly as Java stated. But I did some computation and I say, okay, how many author can I save per second? And for me, it was at maximum 10 per second. How many record in the file? 9 million. So you did just a small calculation and you say, oh, I need 10 days to open my first file. And then if I do the same with books, which now I need to enrich, it's about 280 days.
Yeah.
So
doesn't sound
working.
nice.
It's working, but okay. So for you at home, it's not always good to optimize too soon. Okay, we need to make it work first. So there is nothing wrong with this approach on the first try. But you can also ask yourself, 300 days, should we do better? I think we should. Could we do better? And yes, we can. We can use a tool called DataStax Bulk, which is free to use. DataStax Bulk will load a CSV in a table for you.
And do it way much faster. By the way, Cedric, I see many people are asking, do we have to download the dumps?
No. You don't have to. You don't have to. If I don't say so, you don't have to. What you will do is import some CSV file ready to go. And it will be pretty soon. Do not worry. In less than 10 minutes, you are doing it. Okay, so what you want to do with DataStax bulk is load some CSV file in the tables. Do we have CSV files? No, we don't. So the first job that we have to do is to convert those text files to CSV files. And that operation could be fast because you do not rely on anything else than just your CPU and a little bit of I/O on your local machine. So what the CSV should look like? What you can do is use dsBulk to unload the few rows that you were able to import with the first approach. You know, the first approach, you may have 10, 15 books. So you will ask dsBulk unload, and you will see what the CSV look like. So you have an ID. So here, ID of the book, ID of the authors, then author names, okay? It may not be populated for each row because sometimes you don't have the name, the title, description, cover ID, and date. So my job would be to build something that read the dump from Open Library and convert that on a CSV compliant with dsBulk. Okay. But I still have two files. I still have the author files and the books and the books file. Can we improve that? And you can see on screen, if you look at the author files, I realized that this file is about 3 gigabytes, including all the space and what you can see in the file. I can show you what it looks like. If you look at this author file, and I put that in big, you will see that, hey, there is a lot of stuff that you don't need. All the beginning and all the end. You really need all just this ID and the name. And I say, oh, this data hold in memory. So first part of my batch will be to load this file and put the pivot table ID names in memory. The code is provided to you, is test number 3. But you will see it takes about less than 1 minute to load the author in memory. So from 10 days to 1 minute. Yeah, not too bad. And so then when you decide to read the books and enrich your books with data coming in memory, of course, it's going way, way faster. It will produce CSV file. Second tips for you to know. I could have generated a single CSV file about the same size as the input. But here I have the opportunity to split things in multiple chunks. What I would do that? Well, it will be easier eventually to resume if something goes wrong. And instead of building a 260 million file, I say, oh, I will create some files with only 250K books per file. And then I can do a loop and consume file after file. And with my computation, it takes about 1 minute for each CSV file. So 4 minutes per million. And altogether, that's 1,000 minutes, which is, okay, a couple of days. So we have quite dramatically improved. I think the ratio is multiplied by more than 100. So now, what will you do at home? This CSV file has been generated for you. Okay, so it's done with test 3. Here it will, not during this session, but you have everything you need to do it after the session. Download the dump, provide the dump file over here, and let the batch running, and it will generate you those nice CSV that we are using today. Which CSV? Well, if you go to the GitHub repo now, the GitHub repo here, let me put that in big. Here you can see in the files, you do have the app that you want to run. You also have dataset. Okay, and here datasets, I provide you 2 CSV. So those are the CSV I want you to load. Okay, and this is what we will do now together as a hands-on. So long story short, what are the lessons learned for the loading data? So having dump is great, but having an effective way to load data is important. Recommended path to load data in Cassandra. DataStax bulk, as we just did, with throughput like multiple thousand per second. Astra data loader could help you if you have small CSV file or you want to import data coming from DynamoDB. Or Apache Spark. Apache Spark works very well alongside Cassandra, and it's a computation framework, so all the transformation can be done at Spark level. Also, Spark is distributed, so can distribute the load among multiple Cassandra nodes. Okay? All right. So what we will do is use dsBulk, load, CSV, blah, blah, blah. Are we ready? Yes, we are. Okay. Hands-on. So hands-on. The rest of the hands-on will be on the IDE. So now if you're afraid of code, it's time to to quit, because now it will be a lot about coding. All right, let's go and start at step 7. This guy is now way too big. I need to go back to the README, okay, and go to step 7 where we left. Okay. Fortunately, we do have a table of content. That's quite help, right? Okay, and what we want to do is click here the button open in Gitpod. Again, tips and trick. Right click, open in a new tab. Because otherwise it will open stuff on top of the README. This is not what you want. Okay, that's great. That's what I want. I will also, in the meantime, copy my token in my clipboard. Okay. Okay, so as you can see, it's VS Code in the cloud. It will open the README for us. Oh, so cool. And some stuff happening. You can see on the terminal, it's maybe small on my screen, but it's doing, let me put that maybe bigger. It's doing some stuff. Okay, it's installing what we need to use today. So Gitpod provide out of the box Node, Python, Java, Maven, Go, Scala. Well, anything you think of is there. So at startup, what I'm doing right now is just executing some command just to install packages, not software. So it's coming. Here it is. Okay. All right. And yeah, for some reason, it didn't ask me for my token. I will do it again. Maybe I have my workspace already open somewhere. Anyway. No, I don't want you to run the test. I want you to do Astra setup, please. Geez. For once, is not doing what I expect. So hopefully you don't get the same stuff as me, but npm install Astra setup. Yeah, I ask you to install Astra setup because I need to set up Astra. Okay, and then I need to exec Astra setup. Okay. I'm not sure why I did that. All right, so Oh, okay. This is why. This is why I did that. See, I already have some stuff there because I've run that before. So you won't have the same issue as me. And I will. Okay. So yeah, why do I still have those stupid stuff? Yeah, anyway. So export equals my token. I'm not sure what my environment was not set up. Okay. Please. Yeah, provide me a token. Yes, here is your token, mister. So this is what you should have, like just checking your credentials because this is the first time you are starting Gitpod. For some reason, my token was initialized not with the proper value. Okay. So now, blah, 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 it's doing what it's supposed to do. No, it's not doing what it's supposed to do. Okay, so let's see. Live debug. Okay, settings. Variables. No, I don't have any variables. I don't have any account. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, my settings is okay. My workshop should be okay. Gitpod.io.
Sure.
Okay, so let me stop this guy and start again. Delete. I probably have some kind of side effect. Okay. Or maybe I do have some file in Gitpod that should not be there. Okay, let me see over here what's happening in the better reads. Never hit that issue before. Never mind. Let's do it again. So look at the code. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that. Okay, so let's do it again. Let's do it again. Yeah, exactly, Utsav. When the Gitpod open, I should have my environment variable setup with Astra setup. And then the Spring app will use them, simply put. I can do it manually, but that means you won't be able to do it. And I'm not sure what's happening. Nothing special. And I've run that 1,000,000 times. Okay, so now this is the expected behavior. He asked me for a token, okay? And I will pick my token that I do have somewhere. Okay, I will use my token that you have seen me copy, okay? I copy the token as it's supposed to be done. I allow and I enter. Okay, what next? Okay. Now, after this Astra setup, I'm starting Spring, as you can see with the Maven downloading everything. And I will show you exactly which environment variable are expected. So here I'm running a test. And the test is ensuring connectivity. Okay, so everything went smoothly the second time. Don't really know what happened the first time. I may have some cache somewhere or the token invalid, not used as you expect. So hopefully you had the same experience as me the second time. You were asked to provide a token, and as soon as you provide this token, it's go smooth. And you know, would be nice to show you when you initialize Gitpod, it will run a file called gitpod.yaml, and this is all the instruction I gave to him. Okay, and it's run Astra setup, provide the token, and initialize some environment variables. And now if I do env pipe grep Astra, you will see all the variable initialized for us. So maybe I make that bigger. You do have the client ID, client secret, region, database ID, key space, and token. This is what it's supposed to do. Okay. Alrighty, let's go back to what we should do, right? Okay, it was 7. Sorry for the 5-minute delay. We are still on time. It was a glitch in my stuff. Okay. Let's go back to step 7. Where I've done that, I can go to step 8. So step 8, ask me to open a new terminal using that nice icon on the side. Come on. Okay, and I will read my README from here. Okay, I don't have enough real estate on my screen to do anything else. So it's still the same README, but I will read it from here. So 8, open CQLSH, blah, 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 and it asks me to use that icon. Let's do it. Okay. From there, I will run CQLSH. And that's kind of a magic. You are now connected to your Cassandra database right away. No need to provide anything. That was part of the initialization. So here I will describe my key space, and I will use the key space beta reads and describe the tables. And as you can see, or maybe you should see, like before, the table are created. So that's Spring Data that will generate the schema based on Java object I do have in my app. But I will show you exactly that when we will discuss about Spring Data in 10 minutes. This is why I do have the table, and you never had to use the CQL create table. Okay, so blah, 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 describe table, everything there. So now, let's see. I will clear here. I've told you about some CSV file. Guess what? Because the CSV were part of the GitHub repository you just clone in Gitpod, the files are already there. And we will use dsbulk to import those files. Okay, I count the number of rows. It's about 250k rows. dsbulk is already ready to go, install for you and set up. So here we do have the version 1.8.0. Okay, and I will run the command that you have seen me on slide. Okay, so let's do that. And here we go. I may have some warning, and the reason is I already import this file before. So, but nevertheless, here we are doing about 1,000 per second. which is, right now is the time when I should, take my phone and say, hey, Astra guys, we are a bunch of 200 folks doing the DS bulk all at the same time. Are you ready? We will DDoS Astra, everybody loading the data at the same time. Okay, so it's, as you can see, it's importing the rows. I'm about 60,000, 70,000, way faster than row per row. So to initialize, clean the data, if you can save usage of any database or any IO and do as much as you can in memory, you will gain some time. So that's already a first improvement from the app at the end of the Java Brain build an app with me. So even if you follow all the Kushik courses, you already learned something new. And you will see that we have also improved a bit the application. Okay, 140,000. Come on. During my test, it was 3,000 per second. And maybe that's because we are multiple people working right now. Okay. Yes, so great question from Juan. Yes, the CSV have the same column are Cassandra tables. And if you just look at the first row of the CSV, I also put back the column names for DSBuild to know how to map the column to the table column. Yeah, indeed, exactly. All right. Okay, so 2 minutes 40, not too bad. We will have some failed. That's expected. Okay, I have not put enough time to clean every single title in the dump. So you will have some fail. But if you want to have a look at the fails, it's available in the log file. So here you have now a folder called logs with our load process. And you can have access to everything that goes wrong. But, I won't go that route during this workshop. But, if you want to get a system production ready, maybe you want to make sure why those title failed and what happened. I had a look before, and the reason is they are using some special character, maybe some, Russian titles, some Spanish titles with not UTF-8 characters that may fail.
Yep. So please notice some warnings are totally fine.
Yes.
So error messages like you see at Cedric's screen.
Yeah, exactly. Some warnings are totally fine. Yeah. Totally. Not only warnings, but also even failed rows. So in my 250K file, I had 200 failed.
Cedric, I have to ask, I see this error message already second time in the chat. At some step, I don't remember exactly which step, guys are getting operation failed, unknown short operation -1. What could it be?
So if you look at the command that we enter, we are using max error -1 with to escape the lines. Maybe, yeah, I'm not sure. Copy pasting should do the trick, or what? Maybe the token has not been generated. So if that happened, what you should try to do is echo, just to see if the token is really there. I don't know why.
First check if you have copy-pasted the command in the right way.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, step 9, load data with DS bulk. It was step 9, import the dataset. Guys, mostly probably it's just a wrong copy-paste. You just seen it working at Cedric's side, and that's for reason. So check what all the backslashes in the end represent. Check this command. It should be exactly like this.
That's also, that might be obvious, but I copy this command in the terminal, not the CQLSH terminal. Okay. In step 8, we were doing SQL command on this terminal. But here, what I would like to invoke is DS bulk. So make sure you are using the terminal on the right, the one where you can type ls. Because that's probably not well formatted command, but I copy paste and it's working. Okay, right.
And Harshit Lahani, same belongs to you. Check your copy paste. Mostly probably you didn't copy it something entering this command.
Or you may stop somewhere. Okay. All right. So
and for extended help, contact our guys at our Discord server, where you can paste your screenshots so we can see what exactly you are giving to the system when you are getting this error. In YouTube chat, it's not possible, sorry.
Yeah. So here, now you can import a second file if you want. Now your job to find the proper command line. It's the same, just changing the file name. And you can also count how many rows in your table. And guess what? I'm importing data for a couple of days. So I probably have way more books than you in my database. So let's see how many I was able to insert. Hey, look at that. I already have millions. So for me, 2 million books, but for you, it would be 500,000 books if you import both, and 250K if you import one.
Yeah, you see, Cedric doesn't like to joke about that. Even when he is doing a tutorial educational application, he's still using big data size. Can you imagine him working with production?
I mean, why not? It's like it does not always to be hello world, okay? So
yeah.
Here we are loading 4 million books, which is, pretty decent.
No, very many years ago, we didn't have enough capacity in our team, so we asked one outsourcing company to develop a solution for us. And we warned them, guys, it's a high load, it's a big data. Please, pay attention to this part of our request. And they were, okay, we are professionals. It's all will be fine. After some time, they're showing it off. And it works great. Oh, great, amazing. You have 1,000 rows in your database. Now put real data. Boom, it doesn't work anymore. And it took actually as much time as to develop first solution for them to develop a real working solution. It's typical.
Yeah, here that should not be the case because we shape the schema exactly based on the request we needed. So even if we put 3 trillion rows in the table, which is what Cassandra is meant to do, it will still pretty fast to answer because we are executing exactly the expected queries. Okay, all right. So you know what? We should be happy. So see, I personally have almost 5 million in my database. Hopefully you were able to import a few 100,000. Now is, I guess, time to start the application, right? So to start the application, what I will do is GP URL 8080. Maybe I should clear that just to make it obvious. So GP URL 8080. We are in a tool called Gitpod. When you start the app will listen on port 8080. But what Gitpod does is translating this port in a dedicated URL. So when the app will start, this will be the URL of the app. Hopefully it's big enough. It's still port 443 because it's HTTPS, but a prefix has been provided 8080. Okay, so let's start the app. Let's see if I'm on the proper folder. Maven run. Apps running. Okay, let's see. Finger cross. I mean, I already had 2 stuff failing, so,
While it's being loaded, are we using Spring Boot or it's not based on Spring Boot?
It's based on Spring Boot.
Mm-hmm.
It's based on Spring Boot. It will connect to the database using Spring Data, and the web UI is based on TimeLeaf, which is the default renderer that works with Spring MVC. And this is exactly what we will discuss now, more into the Spring app. I think we spent quite a decent amount of time to work about the data, but to be honest, data intensive application, you will work most of your time working with the data. Okay, so now the app should be up and running. And so if I want to see the app running, let's see, probably the URL is, okay, the URL is provided. But here the app is running. I cannot insert anything in this terminal. So what I do, I open yet another terminal. Yeah, you got it. So here I will go there and I will just GP preview. So the app is running. Yeah. Okay, let me that smaller for now. So the app is running. I do have 1, 2, 3 terminal, okay? And I can do search. So what I ask people to do is search for a glimpse of ancient Swamp. You can search whatever you like, okay? It will work. But when you search, remember, you are requesting something from Open Library. The search under the hood working with Open Library REST API. So anything will work. But then when you click View Books, it will actually look for the book detail inside the Cassandra database. And as we and you imported only 500,000, there is 99% of chance that the book is not in the database. This is why I provide you an exact name, because it was part of the CSV we all import together. Here I can view the books and I can do stuff. Okay? And with that, we do have the app running, but it's still anonymous. The next step will be stop about the data, stop about the data modeling and data loading as we did right now. Let's have a closer look in the database in the code directly. Okay, so more about the code. And we still have time, okay, 30 minutes. We still have time more to focus on the Java code now. Okay, and I will let you do the hands-on, keep going. I'm back to the slide just to give you more insight about the application we are building. Okay. All right. So first, what you need to realize is the loading process is different from the script before. We use a main class to transform text into CSV, and then we use dsBulk to load data in Astra DB, and we start the app. And some people familiar with Spring immediately recognize the nice Spring Boot loading logs, even if I change the banner just to have a nice DataStax developers. Oh, and if you're jealous and you want to have your own nice banner when the app startup, not having the ugly Spring logo, it's just a single file to change. You go to SRC, so it's your app. You go to SRC main resources. Let me close what I don't need. I don't need that. I don't need that. And you can open something called banner.txt. And this is what is loaded. This is what it loaded when you start the Spring Boot application. Okay, that's just for details. Okay, so it's a Spring Boot app, indeed. How do we do that? So let's fill this Spring Boot app. So first, we need a way to connect to Cassandra. And for that, we are using something called the Cassandra drivers. If DataStax is famous for something, is to have implemented the Cassandra drivers in multiple languages, and Java make no difference. So that driver does a lot of things: retry, load balancing, else check, auto discoverability, lazy loading. It's super powerful. It's also doing object mapping. You can build a full app just with Java and the drivers. You don't need something else. You have everything you need. The main object to be aware of in the drivers is called the SQL session. This object is a stateful object because within the object, you will maintain some connectivity with your database. It needs to be a singleton because all the pooling is also inside the SQL session. You need that object to be in singleton in your app. So in Spring, most of what you use is already a singleton. So that's totally fit what we want to do. But let's remember that SQL session is the only object you really need to be aware of. Okay. I told you we will use Spring Data. Just one word on this slide. To connect to Astra, it's just a little bit different to connect to OSS Cassandra because it's a web-based Cassandra. So you need to secure the connectivity between you and Astra, and you need some certificate and some strong SSL settings. All the settings are part of a zip file that you can download from Astra user interface. But if you look at the app, in the code of your app, you might realize we do have something called Spring Boot, Astra Spring Boot Starter. So a starter in the Spring Boot world is something that we initialize everything for you. So as the name stated, Astra Spring Boot Starter will initialize everything you need to connect your app to Astra, meaning creating the SQL session for you and doing all the magic needed with the zip secure connect bundle or SSL. You don't have to worry about anything. That's just done for you. Okay, so that's the Cassandra drivers. And I will navigate the code to show you about the starter. On top of the Cassandra drivers come Spring Data, and especially Spring Data Cassandra. So Spring Data is super strong. You will define only interfaces, not classes, extending the CRUD repository classes, providing the primary key and the object. And only with that, Spring Data will be able to do create, read, update, delete of your data inside the database. And you don't have to code anything. It's just all about creating your object, annotating your object, and creating the repository. So back to code. Here, if I look at my object, so let's say for the author, for instance, here I do have the author bin. Okay, I annotate author by ID. I provided some annotation to see how the bin should be related to the database. Okay, you got it. And if you look at the repository now, it's extend Cassandra repository, also extending CRUD repository, okay? And it's empty. You don't have anything to do. The save, create, read, update, delete is done for you. So that's just magic. Object mapping, define some object, annotation. Working with template. If you need to execute some queries, and the repository cannot do them all. If you want to provide a where clause or do some sorting, you will provide some Cassandra query language statement, and Spring Data provide the templates to help you do that. And here is called Cassandra template. So here I can show you, instead of extending a Cassandra repository, you can extend simple Cassandra repository. You do have access to Cassandra template, and with these Cassandra templates, you can start count, delete, update, or execute a statement. Okay. To be honest, in a Spring Data Cassandra application, half could be done with the repository, but let's be honest, half need also the access to Cassandra template to have these fine-grained queries. Okay. Schema creation. You have seen you never created the tables. Well, it was because on application.yaml, our configuration file, we told Cassandra, Spring Data Cassandra, to create the schema if the schema does not exist. So Spring Data at startup look at those bins and created the table exactly based on the attribute you put. So again, super, super powerful, based on keys on application.yaml. Okay. About the Spring Boot the Astra Spring Boot starter. Here you have dedicated keys using Astra. So this is what have been used to download the cloud bundle and secure everything as you expect. Okay.
Cedric?
Yep.
We have a question from Dario. On the slides, it has to be Cassandra repository bin ID, not ID bin, right?
Let me see. Yes,
Run repository
is correct. Exactly. Nice.
Good catch, man.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's exactly what we want. Okay. Correct. Thank you. So first the object and then the primary key. Okay, my bad. And should be the same on the other side. Okay, you got the idea. But let's keep moving. Spring Data Cassandra will leverage on the object SQL session. No mystery. Every framework uses SQL session under the hood. Cassandra repository also work with SQL session. So Cassandra template, Cassandra operation, I've shown you that. Annotation for Cassandra, I've shown you that. And now, please be aware. If you have to be aware during this workshop for 3 minutes, this is now. It's easy to set up Spring Data to work with Cassandra. Couple of keys in application.yaml and the proper starter. Annotate your bin, get the repository. It's working, you're very happy. And it will work in dev. And when you deploy on production, you may be in trouble. And those are the reasons why. First, please do not use find all. In a repository, find all will be provided out of the box. And to do your test, this is the first method you invoke. There is no parameters. It's the easiest to invoke. And you do that in dev, all good. But here, if I try to do find all with the 5 million books we import, it will blow my app out of memory. So please do not do find all, because Cassandra will have huge table. Try to avoid that. Although if you execute a query and the query just return an error, you cannot execute this query on this column because this column is not part of the primary key. You get that all the time with Cassandra if you did not pay attention on the data module. There is a trick. Allow filtering. Allow filtering will allow you to do a full scan of your Cassandra cluster without paying attention to the data model. It's great, but it will do a full scan cluster. So in production, it could take minutes and minutes to execute. This is why you always have to provide the data model first and think about your queries based on the table based on your queries. So schema creation, to be honest, is not recommended. I would like you to first do the SQL, create exactly the same process as we did to make sure this is exactly the model I want and not rely on an object. Because very soon you will have another query on the same data. What you will do, if you're just a Java Spring user, you will try to reuse the same object to execute on different queries on the same data. It's not like it should work in Cassandra. In Cassandra, you should duplicate the data. You will have one table per query and multiple query on the same table, multiple table, data replicated. So always be sure to focus on the schema first and not the object first. And all the nice features like schema creation, find all, and mapping is great, but be careful. Last but not least, simple Cassandra repository. I've shown you what it is. It's instead of using just an interface, you will use a concrete class extending the simple repository. The trick is now you still have the same method, find all, find by ID, save. They are still there. It's still the same. But now you do have access to the SQL session. And when you need to create a query and know exactly how to shape the session, or you need to do a LWT or a batch query or all the advanced feature of Cassandra, you do have access to SQL session. Okay, so please be aware. Try to use simple Cassandra repository almost every time. Okay.
Cedric, we have a question from Juan Jose Barrera. Could you deny executions of some methods using config?
I don't think so. What I would recommend is maybe to create a super class for you and put, I don't know, either a deprecated or override some of the method available for you. And just to get either the warning deprecated or should not be used. But I mean, developer will always find ways to trick you. Even if it not find all, they will look at the code and find another way to do it. So you should train the developers, before instead of forbidden what should be done. You should provide them a sample. Here is a good sample instead of doing that through code. Also in the CI/CD, you can have some rules to see if allow filtering and find all are not in use. Okay, so I would probably just train people instead of at runtime try to deny such things. Okay, all right, so Spring Data is there. This slide is gold. If you can keep one slide for today, please use this one. So Spring Data is on top of the drivers. Okay, and you have seen we did not create any queries. Spring Data doing all the magic for you, including schema creation for the sake of the demo today, because it makes us win a couple of more minutes to tell more stuff in 2 hours. So second, now we need to contact the REST API on an open library when you do search. So you need to invoke a REST endpoint. If you an old guy like me, we have been using REST template in Spring Web, Spring MVC for decades. Maybe decades, but decade. In these 10 years, it's there. It's nice. I must admit, I'm still a HTTP client guy and Apache HTTP. Also, even now, HTTP client is part of the JDK 11. So anyway, if you love Spring REST template, now it's time to move, because the REST template was based on the Java Servlet API using some blocking API with the model one thread per request. And so each time you would have some context switching that will lead to another hit of the CPU. So a new object called the web client is part of the Webflux stack. So even if your app is not reactive, you would import this Webflux client called the web client to execute some query asynchronously. And you know, cherry on the cake, if your app is reactive, then you can use the Fluent API annotation to keep moving with the object return from the app. So quickly, if you go to search, because this is where it's done, and look for the search controller, here you will see that the search controller is using the web client, okay, and the web client is part of the reactive stack. So the web client is initialized with the open library URL, and then when you search, you will invoke a REST endpoint search, looking for the parameter here, and you will retrieve a mono, you know. We have a dedicated session on reactive here, but mono, flux are the two objects in the reactive stack. Mono for scalar or object, and flux for any list array set. But hey, we don't need mono because the app is MVC and we are using synchronous controllers. I'm reusing the Cushy code. So the controllers are MVC. So I'm not concerned. It's okay. So we need to block. And if you block a mono of foo, you get foo. Okay. And then you can keep using the return and start working. So if you need to invoke HTTP endpoint with Spring, consider moving from REST template to web client. You still have the object mapping and the headers and all the Fluent API that we love with REST template. Okay. On top of these object access, so DAO, you want to have a web layer, controller and views. Okay. So for the controller, we are using MVC, and for the views, Timeleaf. So go back a bit to the code quickly. Let me close what I don't need. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about the controller. Maybe book controller this time. So book controller to get the book by ID. So first we are using controller annotation, not REST controller. So REST controller give you REST API. Controller give you a MVC controller. So now instead of returning an object, we will return a view, which is the name of the screen we want to show. And instead of returning the object, we will populate the model with the object you need. So here what I'm doing, I'm using book repository to find my book from its ID in Cassandra. That's the first row here. Then is the book have been found? Then I will populate my model. It's good to introduce loose coupling in the layers. Okay, you want to work with dedicated object in the view layer and dedicated object in the data access layer object. I mean, if you have used Hibernate in the past, maybe you have been burned, but you know, or caught by the police. You do not want to have the same object connected to the database in the web UI, and it's not simply what you want to do. Okay, so enrich the object and then save the object in the model. Then I want to show a view called book. And this is where Timeleaf come in play. Here, I imported Timeleaf as a view framework. And if you go into template and go to books, here you will see that, oh, I do have a HTML page called book. So this is the one that needs to be invoked. And here I will look for value in the model. So here it's a card body, and I'm looking for an object book and the attribute names. And if here I look there and I say, oh, we have created something called book as an object book. We also have something called user books, and it should be part of the user as well. So all these objects are available at the view level. And the view is pretty powerful. You might think, yeah, it's an HTML page, old-fashioned. Yes, it is. But look at that. You can create some fragment. Fragment is part of the user interface that you want to reuse everywhere. Okay? And this is how we use TimeLeaf. So you import the TimeLeaf starter. You create on SSMN resource a template folder where you will provide all your views. You can customize, of course, the view names and the folder names, but the default TimeLeaf view resolver is working like that. And so in your controllers, not REST controllers, you will return the view name and you will populate your session with the object needs to be shown on the UI. And that's it. You have done MVC with controller and views with TimeLeaf. And I see the clock is running, but still I want to go there. Now, what we have done so far is only do the anonymous part. If we want to interact with the user and user ID, you need to authenticate the user. Okay? And to authenticate the user, you can leverage on services like GitHub and Google. In your app, what you will do is import OAuth2 client, Spring Security, and OAuth2 Rosé to delegate those authentication SSO OAuth2 to third parties. Okay. In your application.yaml, Spring Security OAuth2, you will define some IDs based, those IDs has been provided to you by either GitHub or Google. That's a hands-on. I will do it right now. And so in your index.html, the home page, okay, we have some standard URL /OAuth2 authorization Google /OAuth2 authorization GitHub. And to set up a Spring app, that's just it. Import Spring Security, Spring OAuth2 Rosé, and Spring Starter OAuth2. Use normalized URL to invoke GitHub or Google, and provide client ID, client secret in the code. So let's do the hands-on as last part, and we will close with the game. So hands-on, 10 minutes maximum, and then we play the game. So we will be 10 minutes late. Sorry for the small delay. Okay, so let's go back to Gitpod as we left. So everybody should be there. And let's look at step number 10, I think. No, 10 is done. 11, set up authentication. I can do two. Maybe for the sake of time, I will go to the second one, GitHub. It's hopefully explained in details for Google as well. But here, let's do it with GitHub.
Cedric, there is a question again from Dario. What diagram tool was used for the architecture overview?
I mean, those? It's just a PowerPoint. Okay. Okay, full disclosure. I used to be a pre-sales, so I'm a master in PowerPoints and but you know, to be honest, from 2 days ago in GitHub, now you can do mermaid in your Markdown, and this is amazing. It was not part of this workshop, but now, you know, inside Markdown file, you can include some mermaid, and it will generate that. So look, see these nice stuff. And by the way, you can let's put some architecture diagram. Maybe some state diagram. You copy paste that, you go into any Markdown file, and you just put that as prefix with something like that. You prefix like ta mermaid, and you end with ta. Copy paste that in a Markdown, and you can draw some graphics. So for
Yep,
now, it was
I just pasted a link on the YouTube chat for those who is interested.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. But for now, it was still PowerPoint. Okay. So let's dig into just set up the authentication for GitHub then. Okay. So set up GitHub. So to set up GitHub, let's go to GitHub. Okay. You go to GitHub. Your GitHub, lovely GitHub. You go to the settings. Okay, your settings, your organization, it's written there. I will speed up a bit, but it's really written in many details there. Your organization. So hopefully you have less organization than me. I'm a busy man. I will go to DataStax Dev settings, or you go to your settings. So now you see under the hood what we do on daily basis. And here on developer settings in the menu, I will pick OAuth application. Okay, I already have one, but let's create a new one. New OAuth application. So a live workshop, homepage URL. Well, the homepage URL, I mean, here you can provide whatever you like, but let's be, precise. Here I will, use GP URL 8080, which is the homepage of our application when we are on Gitpod. Okay, this is the app that we just started before. Okay, application description, blah, 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 blah. Callback URL. This one is just key. When you ask GitHub to authenticate, it will call back to you. As a callback URL, you need to provide the Gitpod URL with the proper suffix. So what we need to do is to provide the URL ending with login 002 code GitHub, and the first part of the URL should be the home page. Again, it's written in many detail in the description. So here, blah, blah, blah. And here I did that. Okay, so I register my app. Okay, now I do have a client ID. Oh, great. So let's use my client ID, something I need. Okay, and client ID is not enough. I need to generate a client secret. Use the secure key. Look at that. You don't even have to see my password. So cool, Gitpod. GitHub. Okay, I copy paste my client ID, a client secret. Okay, and I'm done. GitHub settings done. Now I go back to our app, go to application.yaml, and oh, look at that. To set up GitHub, I need to provide client ID, client secret. So client ID and client secret. Google is exactly the same. You will do the same step as I did in the Google console. It will give you client ID, client secret, and it's the same. And now guess what? I will close my app and restart my app and see if it's working. Okay. Can I just exit these? I do have too many terminal open. We don't see it. Let me exit a couple. Okay.
It always happens with me after all. Always.
Too many things open. Okay. All right. So I now have a single, terminal. I can make it bigger. Too big. Anyway, let's close that. So Maven, proper folder, yes. Maven Spring Boot run. Spring Boot Run. Okay, so let's see. And the home page is still the same, right? So, okay, do I still have my home page? Yeah, okay. Login with GitHub. This is what we tried to do, right? Oh, it's okay, failing. What did I do wrong? Client ID, client secret. Let me see. O2 settings, client ID, client secret, start ending with 0. Yeah, seems like a good one. And for the callback URL, workshop BBBB, blah, blah, blah. And our name is workshop bet, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm not sure that's okay. Let me just update that just to be sure.
Yep. For VP Engine, it fails with the same error.
Okay. Okay, let's do it again. Okay, login not found. So do I did something wrong? Okay, that stuff is open and public. That stuff is open and public. So
Second one is in private.
Yeah, but
second part was in private, but I'm not sure if it matters.
Yeah, don't think so. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, pretty happy about it. Okay, let's see. OAuth, that's my client ID, blah, blah, blah. That's my home page for sure. Callback URL. Oh, I do have 2 slash. Is it the reason why?
That may be.
Updates. Okay. Once again. And I will do it for. No. Jeez. Yeah. Come on. It's always like that. It works 10 times. Okay. Client ID, client secret. You know what? What I can do is just generate another client secret. Maybe generate a new client secret. Okay. It's GitHub. Yeah, it should be GitHub. Okay, remove the Google one. I don't know if we have a side effect. Should not be. It automatically restarted. Yeah, that's expected. Okay, it's back. No, I'm not sure what's happening here. Yeah, is it my? Did I did special with my OAuth apps? Yeah.
Error description in the network tab is the redirect URI must match the registered callback URI for this application. So it can be the case, maybe. Let's double check it.
Yeah, let's see. I think I did it correctly. Login code OAuth2.
Again.
Yeah,
maybe you need to add slash in the end. Sometimes where I mean just guessing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it used to work.
I know it was working just a second ago. That's my point.
Yeah, okay. So we'll do a last try, and let's see. What I will do is use an existing app. Okay.
Yeah, SAP notices what homepage have a trailing slash. That's what I was thinking about too.
Okay, let's generate a new client secret. Okay, that's a new client secret. All right. So thank you for helping, guys. Okay.
It's a teamwork, you know.
Yeah. I mean, we've done things correctly. Okay, so then my demo URL is that. No. Okay, I'm happy with that. On OAuth2, I will change the home page. Okay. And I will change that with this. Okay. Okay, save. Okay, so now let's see. Is it my code on Gitpod, or is it my app that I did not initialize properly? I may have restarted already. And then I will, anyway, I will move to the game anyway after this last try. It should be some details and stuff here and there, but not sure what I did wrong. Okay, here you go, my friend. No, it's not happy with that. So that's my app. It's listening on AT&T. It's there. It's client ID, client.
Santosh Lalvani says, callback or URL of demo and live workshop seems different to me. But we have to proceed with the game anyway already. We are a little bit over time.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah. You're correct, but hey, let's see. Oh, login 002 code GitHub. Yeah. Okay, so what I can do, and yeah, and then we go. So open a new bash. Okay, echo $GP URL 8080 / yes, this is exactly what I should have, right? Yeah, anyway, you're correct. That should be it. Save. Demo. Okay. Oh, no. Okay. All right. Oh, geez, I don't like ending with a fail, but I don't want to keep you up to end of the night. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's, that's probably a port to open somewhere, but the code is there. Used to work again this morning quite well.
I know it works. It's already working for some of our attendees. That's the point.
Okay. Yeah. So that's me. So it's not a big deal if it's just me fat finger. It's not important if it's just me fat finger. Okay. So now the session is recorded. You can replay at your own pace. Simply now stop and play the game all together, and close this session in joy and fun. How is that? Okay, let's do it. So I will
don't switch off. Don't switch off. Game just starts. Take your chance to win prizes.
Exactly. So I will wait for players.
All right. How many people do we have on YouTube Live?
100.
Almost
and we
100. 100 of the strongest. 100 of the best who stayed till the very end. Hey, Mahit, thank you. Amazing session. Wonderful session. Thank you, Abhay. That's really cool to have you here with us. I will watch it again, says Mahit. Now you feel like you are in a good movie. So people want to watch it again. Was it Matrix or more something like adventure movie?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so 86, almost everyone is with us. Good luck, everyone. Last piece of advice, look at your phone or your Menti first. You might have 2-second delay if you look just at the YouTube stream. So if you want to have the best chance of winning, please focus on the screen. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so 5 questions, it should be short. So let's focus. Here we go. Unforce fast to get more points. Question 1. What was the most used framework today? Question. React, Spring, Quarkus, Micronaut. I was sleeping, I don't know.
Hey, it was Django, I know.
Okay, oh yeah, no surprise. All right, so yeah, React, really? Oh no. So people just seen the stream on YouTube and say, hey, there is a game, let's play. Yeah, it was in spring, so who was the fastest among you? Magical Rhino, so yeah, no surprise, so it's a speed question. Okay, so Magical Rhino, why the fastest? Amotoj, Dugal, Salman, 2 and 3. We can proceed to question number 2, but yeah, it's pretty close. Okay, question number 2, and for fast to get more points, here we go. Which database did we use? Okay, speed question again. Google Cloud Platform, Postgre, Cassandra in Astra, and none in memory is the way to go.
And please answer using Menti, not YouTube chat. I mean, we are happy to get your answers in YouTube chat as well, but this way you don't have chances to win your prizes, which is kind of sad.
Don't say Microsoft Masculine.
No, we didn't. Okay.
I think Amotij was the fastest. Oh no, Victoria was the fastest, this one. Okay, congratulations. Look at that. We do have 2 people leading and winning at the moment.
Yeah, point to point. And Victoria was the fastest with just 3 points. Oh no, sorry. 13 points difference.
Yeah, look at that. PU is just 1 point below, so nothing is done yet.
Yeah.
Let's go with question number 3. Here we go. How is called the single sign-on authentication we use today? GWT, OAuth2, OpenID Connect, HTTP Basic, or Google? Google is the new 42. No,
Cedric, I have to admit you are very gentle today with the questions.
Okay, yeah. But you know what? Because also I had a lot of time to explain today. This is also maybe why we are a bit late, but you know, better be a bit late than just not explain things.
Yeah, I mean, usually our questions are way more advanced and hard to answer.
I mean, I saved the advanced question for the end, okay?
Okay. Who was the fastest this time?
Amotij taking the lead.
Amotoj, yeah, first place, and Victoria gets to the second place. And Magical Rhino still on the 13, top 3.
Wow. Definitely, those are the 3 fastest. Amazing. Okay. 2 questions left. Question 4. In TimeLeaf, how are called reusable code section? I said it, but only once. Fragment, component, views, or layer. You know, you ask about tricky question.
But actually, I like how you did the questions this time. It's not for those who know more, like maybe some years of experience, but for those who was really paying attention at the workshop. That's a good thing. Yeah. Exactly. Otherwise, just more experienced people always get victory.
Okay, it was fragment, and it was tricky because the fragment in the app today are stored in a folder called component. And you know, I don't know if Kushik will ever see the recording or is with us to know, but I'm totally getting component, thinking about React component. Yeah, those are called fragment. Okay, oh wow, Sushant G96 from nowhere is now leading, Learnidol, Vanya, 2 and 3. Yeah, okay, 1 question left. But the leaderboard totally changed with the question number 4. You know, it's like poker, you know, like the river changed everything. Question 5. Which Spring Data Cassandra should you avoid? Use Cassandra repository, use Cassandra operation, define your own SQL session, use find all, or Spring Data what? Oh yeah, this one I spent so much time on it. Please. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So now you know, no find all, please. Or, you need to know what you're doing. I mean, if you're working in a very small data set, maybe, but hey, that's it. Okay, all right. It was the last question. So who are our 3 winners? Look at that. Ganesh was hiding in the back and boom, take the lead at the end.
Good jump. So, and learn it all on the second question with Jorge on the third.
Yes, so for people who win the swag, so take a screenshot right now. I mean, now, take a screenshot. We tend to have, 10 winners with receipts. So take a screenshot, the 3 of you, and send an email to Gary Harvey. I will show his email in a minute, just before leaving Menti, because that's it for Menti for today. We leave a poll open for you to tell us what we should improve in our session, what should we do different. Maybe it's hard to put everything into our session, but hey, that's for the feedback. So now for the 3 winners, this is the email. Take a screenshot again of the stream, send an email to Gary, give us a couple of weeks, and you will get a way to get your swag box at home for free. So congratulations again. Okay, time to wrap up, and it will be done in less than 5 minutes. We are running a hackathon right now. So it's called Astra DB Build-a-thon. I think it's $40,000 price altogether. And you can submit multiple times. We do have a prize reward every month. And we also run dedicated session for you to help you during app building, the build-a-thon. Okay, so how to join? 3 months, 3 runs challenge, 40,000. Okay, so I was not on the good slide talking about that. So one URL, buildathon.hack.com. Okay, so now you got the URL. If you have question after the session, the YouTube chat will stop. So go back to Discord and ask your question there. We will be there answering your question all week long. And all the team can answer your questions, so that would be easy. I did at the last minute, but I don't know if some know about Fiverr.com. It's a way to share your knowledge and get paid for that. Fiverr is running on Astra, so it's always cool to talk about it. Look at that, it's a full-fledged LMS tool working on Astra. And eventually, for you, a way to, as soon as you get fluent in all the concepts that we have shown below, get there and get paid for what you love to do. Just semi-commercial, let's make Astra shiny. If you enjoyed the session, and no doubt if you stay with us up to the end, you like what we are doing. So subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, send up all the stuff you expect from a YouTuber. Register for the next session coming next week. So one URL, datastax.com/workshops. Next week will be the machine learning on Python. In 2 weeks, e-commerce. 3 weeks intro to Cassandra, 4 weeks intro to NoSQL, and I can keep going on. But go there. Also, if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, as we post the session to come each time, you will get notified. Please be part of our community. Any comment, Alex?
No, we have a huge list of thank you, great workshop, such a productive session. Thank you so much, awesome workshop. Looks like we did it not so bad.
Yeah, cool.
So, give me a moment. There is a question about the hackathon link. Hey, okay. Those who want to participate in the hackathon, there is a link. There are great prizes, very friendly community, and it's going to be very interesting experience. I cannot promise you win because we judge projects by the results, but it definitely will be a very good experience. So build your team. You can participate alone if you prefer that. and jump on board. We start in few days. We start in 5 days, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and we will have a first session this Friday. I think it's on Discord, and it will be described in the email. Okay, the idea is to build apps. Yeah. So last word. Hope you enjoy. Same format every week. So consider to come back. We cover multiple language, multiple topic. Always having Cassandra in the middle. So if I don't see you, take care and see you next time.
All right. Thank you so much for coming. You did a great job together with us. And now a little bit music for you in the end to relax. And see you next week.
See you next week.
Schemaless.